Hi, and welcome to the fourth parasite presentation for HLRM 170. In the previous presentation, we learned all about flatworms. Now we will continue with our review of external parasites. Most external parasites are arthropods. Parasites within the arthropoda belong to either insecta, which are primarily lice, fleas, and flies and mosquitoes, or arachnids, which are primarily mites and ticks. One of the most common and visible parasites of the reindeer is an insect. It's called a warble fly. Anyone who has harvested a caribou is likely to have seen the larvae or scarred hides caused by the larvae. In July or early August, an adult female warble fly will land and deposit 300 to 500 eggs on the hair coat of a reindeer or caribou, usually on the inside of the rear leg, right above the knee. The larvae hatch, burrow under the skin, travel to the back where they encapsulate under the skin. The larvae absorb nutrients from the body fluids of the reindeer and grow to about the size of the tip of your little finger. In the spring, usually early to mid-June, the larvae chew their way out of the capsule and skin, drop to the ground, pupate, and mature after about a month. The adult flies emerge, mate, and look for a new host. Reindeer and caribou are often highly stressed out as they try to run away from the flies and search for wind-blown areas. Often these wind-blown areas are not good for foraging areas, so nutritional and physical stress is a significant indirect impact of the parasite on the herd. Occasionally, the fly will land on and infect an alternative species, including humans, often on the head, where the larvae will seek entry into the body through the eyes. Imagine having a warble fly larva squirming next to your eyeball. Another fly will also use reindeer as a host species, but takes a different approach, both in entry and final destination in the body. Throat bots will lay eggs around the nostrils of the reindeer, hatch, and the larvae travel and encapsulate in large masses in the lower nasal sinuses. Imagine having a snoot full of squirming maggots 24/7 while one squirms next to your eyeball. Arachnids, notably ticks and mites, are common parasites of livestock and can be a significant health factor as they are a common vector for many serious bacterial, viral, and protozoan diseases. Hard ticks are responsible for transmitting the most serious diseases such as Lyme disease, Rocky Mountain spotted tick fever, tularemia, and encephalitis. Fortunately, because of the cold climate, interior and northern Alaska have a paucity of hard ticks, and thus these diseases are absent. Unfortunately, with climate change, the ticks and associated diseases are working their way north and may become significant livestock disease vectors in the future. Now that we have reviewed the potential parasites that could affect your animals, most notably reindeer, what can you do as a livestock owner? Most importantly, you must develop a parasite management plan as an important component of your overall herd health management plan. Detection of parasites in your herd is key, along with monitoring the effectiveness of your control efforts. I recommend consulting with your veterinarian on a parasite control plan. But if you live in an area where a veterinarian is not available, you can still develop an effective parasite control plan. The number of labs which you can find online can provide a mailer pouch kit for submission of samples. Proper sample collection is key. Ensure samples are collected during the appropriate season, location, and recommended number of samples. Here's an example of a mailer kit. Consult the closest vet clinic or analytical laboratory for mailer kits. If parasites are detected in your herd, you must now develop a treatment strategy that will be most effective. You must consider the unique characteristics of your herd, the environment, including pastures and pen configuration, and many of the different methods of drug delivery. Pasture management is critical to an effective parasite control strategy. Ensure your animals are parasite-free when moving to a new pasture or pen to prevent contamination. Remove as much fecal material as possible from pastures and, in particular, pens. Rotate pasture use. Dry, hot weather kills many parasite larvae residing in the soil. Consider burning or liming pastures, and always keep pasture vegetation grazed down or mowed. If parasites are found in your herd, you must evaluate and decide on what drug is most appropriate for your unique circumstances. Use the following guide to guide your discussion with your veterinarian to select the most appropriate dewormer. There are 4 major classes of drugs for internal parasites. Each one has a varying degree of effectiveness on different parasite species. Take some time to review the drugs in the 4 classes. Now review the effectiveness of each class of drug on different parasite groups. Note: one drug is not effective for all parasites. Here's another table of major parasiticides and their respective efficacies for treating different parasite groups. Here are some common trade names of drugs comprising the different drug classes. There is no intention to recommend name brand drugs. Rather than this is just an exercise for you to promote conversation with your veterinarian. In this slide and the next slide are examples of parasiticides. One of the most commonly used parasiticides in reindeer is ivermectin, of the avermectin class, because of its effectiveness in treating for larvae in nasal bot and warble fly. Unfortunately, the avermectins are not effective against tapeworms, but benzoyls are. And so is praziquantel. If you wish to produce an organic meat product, many plants naturally produce toxins that are effective against parasites. Be careful and do your homework when using a natural herbal dewormer, because the toxicity of the plant varies in animals among species. You need to match the right natural dewormer to the animal. It has been demonstrated that the anti-herbivory compounds found in willow leaves reduces parasite loads in caribou. And remember to monitor, monitor, monitor. Unfortunately, parasites are developing resistance to many of the commonly used parasiticides. Consider the following when choosing and using a parasiticide. This completes the Parasites module for HLRM 170.